And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Turn on the tube, what do I see? A whole lot of people crying, don't blame me. They point their crooked little fingers at everybody else. Spend all the time feeling sorry for themselves. Victim of this, victim of that. Your mama's too thin and your daddy's too fat. Get over it. Get over it.
Yeah, get over it. Here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, from the beautiful state of Arizona, here in Phoenix, Freedom's Phoenix Farm. Got goats. That's one of the, chickens, goats and chickens. At what point do you become a farm? Start growing stuff too. That's what we're doing, getting ready for the apocalypse. Brought on by, I don't think God did it. Government, government, wearing shiny badges, black robes, uniforms, and the always available gun. Now, of course, they're standing there with a nice piece of parchment on a tablet saying, these are the 10,000 commandments that we're going to rule you by. So what we're going to do is make sure that you respect our authority. And if you don't respect our authority, well, we're going to get more respect from you because we're going to declare a day of prayer. Well, if we're declaring a day of prayer, well, guess what? We're on the side of God. And if you're not for us, the government, then you're against God because we're for them and you're against them. You think it's more complicated than that. That's exactly how these guys think. That's what they're doing. And I'm like, I'm so happy that someone has stood up and said, we're going to challenge the man. You guys want to play? Well, let's rock. And they're going to vigorously defend this. I would expect or desire nothing less. Let's play. Now, Marc J. Victor and Dick Morris, your mic's off. Don't matter, man. So what happens is they are so adamant about getting not just press to make sure that they can, get their side out and do the case. What they are worried about, it may affect their livelihood. They are worried that people will not see through what this really is and support them. They'd be picketing out front if they're lucky. Because what happens? People support freedom. Dr. Paul showed that. We've seen this already. We got 4 years of this. We already know. Polling goes out in local newspapers here. The New Times, it's already 78% in direct support of what they're doing. So they expected something different. Why? That's what I want to know. Why would you expect it would be different?
Ernie, I expected it to be different because lots of people don't see this as an issue of freedom. We are going around on the stump and making the case that this is a freedom issue, that we have the same position even if Governor Brewer stands up and says, hey, let's have a state day of no prayer. I'm going to stand up and say, wait a second, who the heck are you to tell us there's a day of no prayer? It's a freedom thing. It's not a are you for God or are you against God kind of thing.
That's exactly what it is. Just ask them and they'll tell you
that's what they want to make it. And that's the reason we're going to add people who are pro-freedom, who are pro-religion, pro-God, pro-different religions. That's why it's a freedom question. And we need to urge people to think a little bit more deeply about exactly what this issue is. It's not a are you for God or against God issue.
Go ahead, Dick.
Oh, I agree with Mark, but that's why we're co-counsel on this. This whole issue has got to be done on the issue of freedom, and people tend to forget that Mark and I are not the litigants. Mike is a good litigant, and he's the one who's behind the lawsuit. We are the attorneys. We are the ones that bring the legalisms and bring it into court and can argue this through the court system, which undoubtedly here, you'd ask earlier, what's going to happen? Well, it's going to go through the trial court system, and if we win, you can bet Governor Brewer is going to appeal.
You already won. See, this is the point that I'm making. It's like you think that you care what some black robe says. Nobody cares what the black robe says. I care what the people say. They're already 78% in your favor.
Well, we'll see what happens when the judge rules. But if the judge rules against us, we're going to appeal. So we do know this is going to end up an appeal one way or the other.
We know we're going to San Francisco. I've been there before. I'm sure Dick's been there before.
Yep.
And we'll go to we're gearing up. I'm looking forward to going to San Francisco. Win or lose, we're going to San Francisco. We're going to argue at the Ninth Circuit. Win or lose, we'll go past that. It's a freedom thing. And when it's a freedom thing, we're going to fight, and we are not going to back down.
They want to drag. Okay, this is what I predict is going to. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna say that if somebody wants to demonize somebody, make it me, please, because like they had mentioned,
he needs web traffic.
They're just the attorneys here. But Ernie, it's Mr. Satan to you. Just remember that.
But it's an important point to say. If I was approached at my law firm by a Christian group, by a church, and they said, look, we got a situation where the government is coming in and is doing something that's inhibiting our ability to do what we want to do at our church, I can tell you, Ernie, I am all over that case.
As I'm certain you would be. Now this is the thing that I say they, them, those. There are those that just want to be left alone. There are those that just won't leave you alone. And what they're going to do, these not leave me alone people, in the name of God, they're going to defend God and state as if it was one thing, because they want to make it one thing. Because if you break faith with the state, well, then you're breaking faith with God.
And that's a government position.
Absolutely.
That is a pro-government position.
Absolutely.
And a pro-government position is inconsistent with a pro-American position.
So this is what I anticipate. I get to make predictions. Now, what is today? Today is the 18th, day after St. Patrick's Day, March 18th, 2011, and we're getting into the election cycle of 2012. They will want to make this an election issue, and they'll get so deep into it that they won't be able to extract themselves, and they will wrap themselves in the flag, carrying a cross, just like, what was that old politician from Louisiana, Huey Long? Okay, they go, will fascism come to America? Absolutely. It'll be called anti-fascism. It'll be wrapped in a flag carrying a cross. And here comes the cross and the flag, and this is what they're going to do. So when you guys make this argument in the public, this is how it's going to go. The shifting will be, in my opinion, the 78%. You're going to have the vast majority of Americans are going to be in support of what you're doing for exactly the same reasons that you're doing it. The war is going to play into this. This anti-Muslim thing is going to play into it. They're going to be, the other side's going to, no. We got to be, God's going to save us. Because if we don't have God on our side, all of our spending will crush our economy, and the state will go into the doldrums, and Arizona is the worst per capita in our state debt. She's already had a day of prayer for the budget. We got all, God fail you? Or did you fail us? And this issue is going to be so intertwined with this coming election, and they don't understand that it's going to be to their detriment. They don't get it. I see it. I am looking forward to it. Bring it on. But they're so entangled with this, they won't be able to extract themselves, and power to the peoples.
Dick, it's clear to me Ernie doesn't like this issue at all.
Yeah, he does seem a little bit modulated in the way he works.
He doesn't want to be involved in this lawsuit, I can see.
No, I'm surprised that you guys were... let me put it this way. I'm surprised you haven't done this earlier.
Well, we actually, as hard as this is to believe for some people, Dick and I aren't making any money here, and we actually have to do things that actually, keep the lights on. This is something that we expect to lose money on, even if we win. This is not something that, is funny. On the Barry Young show, they were calling me an ambulance chaser. This is something I'm doing for the money.
Is there money being asked for? Is there some kind of...
Well, there are costs involved. There are costs involved in
filing attorney's costs,
lawsuits. And if we're going to go argue the thing in San Francisco, that's not free either. So, at some point, we're probably going to be asking those who are pro-freedom on this issue to step up and defray our costs. This isn't something...
You give me a chip in, we'll get Pal to do it for you, put it on the website, done. All
right, we'll figure...
Money today, done.
We'll figure out a way to get it done.
But
this is not something we're doing for the money.
It can be done now by making a donation to the FFRF and earmarking the donation for this lawsuit. That way it's tax deductible.
Oh, that's great.
FFRF, freedomfromreligionfoundation.com, org, something.
.org. FFRF.org.
FFRF.org. Sierra! Go ahead and put it up there. Find the contribution thing. She's already way ahead of you guys.
Ernie,
man, she's so kicked our butt. Go ahead.
I just wonder, how much coffee have you had today?
That's all it takes. All I got to do is get, government piss me off.
A good freedom issue gets them fired up.
I'm healed.
Only since the last 20 or so years. This is
what I exist for.
Only since the last 20 years since I've known the guy.
Mark and I have had fun before. I already know what's going to happen. We're going to have some fun. We'll be right back here on Declare Your Independence from the Farm in just a little bit.